Hello and welcome guys. Today we'll be learning how to design this flyer using PixelLab. Let's go over to PixelLab. So we are now on PixelLab. The first thing you want to do is import the design you want to model. Bring it from your gallery to make it easy for you to be able to model any work at all. So bring it into the workspace and shift it to one side. Next up, we want to change the background. Click on the icon you see there and change the color of the background. If let's say you want an exact color of what you're seeing on the flyer, click on the plus icon, then go over to this particular icon, then click on the part you want to take the color. It makes it easy for you to just choose that color. So instead of you looking for the particular color, you can easily do that. Now the next thing you want to do is bring in the shapes of we are seeing on this flyer. These shapes here. Now go over to your shape, you make it a circle shape, you make it big, put it to the side, put it at the side there, then copy it, put it at the bottom too. You can also copy it again and put it as a circle or a square shape at the end. I want to cover that area so that the orange part of that is the background wouldn't be showing. So when you're done with this, make sure you fix it towards that the background that has a different color will not show. Bring your image to the front, the image that we are modeling to the front, so you can be seeing what you are doing there. Now enable the color of the shapes and then pick the ones the color you're seeing there. Like I used a kind of milkish color. I didn't want to use all white. Do the same thing for the other shapes. Okay, so when you're done, you can now go ahead and lock your shapes. Now the next thing you want to do, go over to your gallery and then import the image you want to put at the background. I downloaded some images of egusi soup. This is the one I used for the background. So you set it to the back and then reduce the opacity. So make sure you download the images you want to use before designing. Reduce the opacity of the one in the background. We don't want it to be so visible fighting with the other ones. So the next thing you want to do is lock your shapes, like I mentioned earlier on, so that when you want to move other elements, they wouldn't be moving, they would just be static on one position. So bring in the main image you're seeing there. I already downloaded the egusi soup icon, soup image there. It shouldn't be too big and it shouldn't your background shouldn't show. Let it look as though it's let it actually cover those shapes you're seeing there. So when you're done with that, you rotate it a little. I rotated it a little, I rotated the angle a little. Let it look as though it's lifting, kind of. And then I think that's it about that particular image. You can lock it. Now we go over to our text. Click on the A icon, then type in your text. I used today's special menu, so be typing today's, and then we'll go over and change the color. I gave it the orange color. I gave the images, the background there, and then increase the size a little bit. Then go over and change the font. Add a little bit of trouble locating the exact one I had on the flyer, so you can just be trying them to see the ones that fit mostly. I went back to put it on the capital letter, so all of them will be capital letter. Then reduce the size. You always be adjusting and adjusting until you get a perfect write-up or perfect design. So I've gotten the one for the one I used for my flyer. Next up, we type in special menu. Now look for the fonts for that one. Change the color too. Look for the fonts for it. It was a stylish one. After picking, you insert it to your workspace. So increase the size a little. It's bigger than today's text. And then go over to bold. We want to make it to be bold so it's very visible. And then just in case your S and L on your letters are not visible, go back and click on it and then give a space after the L, give a space before the S, so that your letters will be very visible. All of them will come out well because of the kind of fonts you use them for. Now place it properly to the sides you want them to be. Then next up, we'll type in menu. Type in the menu, the same thing, the same process. Put it the size you want to put it, the color, and give it a font. I used the stylish fonts Allura Regular. Okay, so increase it in size and then give it the color the same way I did you were seeing on your model flyer, whichever flyer it is you are modeling. Now the next thing you want to make sure you place it very well. So I went over and changed the special color to black like you see on the flyer. The other write-ups there, I think you grabbed the concept. I don't want to waste that time typing all of those things you've seen there. Now the next thing you want to do is write in that 50%, the circle you see there. Click on your shape, click circle, and then go over and remove the opacity for the fill. Go down and then increase the stroke. I actually use 3 strokes so you can reduce the size. I went back and then reduced the stroke to 3. I don't want it to be very visible, 3 or 2, so I don't want it to be very visible. And then going down, that's 2. Going down, I pick the color. You can pick your color of your stroke from this point. Pick the orange color or go back to the main color panel and pick your color there. They also work on shapes. Now the next thing you want to do is type in the 50%. You see there 50%, and go over to your fonts, pick a font for it, pick a color for it, just like we did in all the text messages, other texts we've been writing. And then you are set. Increase the size and let it fit well into the circle. Make sure it's well placed. You can always be adjusting the sizes, locating it, putting it very well so that it fits properly. Reduce the circle, whichever ones that need to be reduced, and then continue. So you can see that the circle had a little openings by the side. Go over to your eraser to increase the brush a little and then clean one part, the sides of the circle where the 5 will be and the percent will be. So you can go over and clean up that part. If you check my model flyer, the first flyer design I did, you can see gaps in between them. So you keep going back and adjusting it to make sure that the 5 isn't actually inside the circle, but the circle isn't closing on it. Place it properly so that it fits very well. So when you're done with that, you go over and type in save. You want to bring in the save that is at the top of that 50%. So that save 50%, give it the color, reduce the size, and fit it into the circle. Also give it the font that you want to give to it and place it properly. So after that, next up we want to bring in that shape for order. Now click on your square, reduce the radius so it gives it a kind of circle, or how should I put it, spherical ends, and then reduce the size. Place it at the bottom there, you're seeing there. You can use this position to centralize it so the shape is in the center. Then give it the black color and then type in your order now. Reduce the size and place properly on the shape that we did earlier on, and then also input the fonts you want to put it in. Just set it very well. So after we're done with that, the next thing I want to bring in, you can see the icon, the call or phone icon you're seeing down there. I downloaded it from Google. You bring it in, it has a background, so when you bring it in, you reduce the size and then place it at the bottom of the flyer, just like it is in the model flyer. Now, the first thing you want to do before you change the color, you have to erase the color, erase the white part of that phone icon, so it can allow you to change your colors without it looking as though it's a shape, like a circle shape. So you enable the erase icon, and then you go over to your color, enable the color, and put in the color you want to put in. That's if your phone icon has the background, the black background, like mine did, like the way I downloaded my own. So every other information are things I typed. Don't want to waste our time. Now we're going to bring in the shadow effects you've seen on beneath the plates. Click on your shapes, reduce the opacity of the fill, go back to the stroke and increase it to the highest, then scroll down to blur radius, increase it to the highest too. Reduce the size of the shadow you just brought in, then bring the food, that is the egusi soup, that is my image I put in front, whichever images you're using, bring that particular image to the front, not sending the shadow to the back. Instead, bring the image to the front so that the shadow will be behind that image. Now you can now adjust the shadow to the shape of the plate. Reduce the size, and then reduce the size. Make sure you lock your images so they don't move around. Reduce the size of the shadow effect, and then you can also reduce the opacity a little so it doesn't show so much. Move it to the edge. Remember your plate or my image was rotated a little to give it that lifting effect, so I had to make the shadow effect at the end a bit bigger or more visible than the one in the front of the plate. So that's it, and that's how to make a shadow effect. That's how I made that particular shadow effect. So you go back to your design. Let's see the ones that's still remaining for us to do. Look over it to see the things that needs to be done. You can see those little shapes over there that are like designs at the top there. Click on shapes and then scroll down to the last. You find that shape I used. Reduce the size and give it a color. Same color we've been given almost every other thing on that flyer. You do the same. You copy it and place it at the bottom, rotate it. You can see my shape in the model flyer was actually, the circle part was actually facing upwards, so you can actually rotate it and give it that upwards kind of look. And then when you copy the second one, you put it at the bottom, then you give it the opposite direction kind of look. You place them properly, and then you're done with that particular one. So we can look at the flyer and see our work that's been done so far. So far we've actually covered a lot of things on the flyer. So you can save it as project, so you can always go back and make your adjustments if need be. And then you can also save as image, choose the resolution you want it to be saved as, and then save to your gallery. And that's all about the flyer. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.